great to have so many people from all around the world. Good to have bananas.com here today. I'm impressed. That is such a great domain name. And hope Bananas guys learned something today from Chris. So what I'll do is we're going to talk today and learn a bit about getting real ROI from social media. Now, this has been avoided by people for almost a decade. Like, social's been exciting. We've got lots of engagement. We've got lots of sharing. And then the boss said, what's the return on investment? Well, it's lots of sharing. There's lots of comments. We're getting traffic. The reality is, at the end of the day, it's going to produce a return on investment. That's what ROI is about. I really don't like acronyms normally, but ROI is absolutely vital. So social is great to build that credibility and trust and get people engaged from all around the world. But at the end of the day, we've got to get a return from it. So Chris is going to talk today about using a tool and some tactics to actually get that important ROI. So I'm going to hand over to Chris now. Thanks, Chris, and look forward to hearing what you've got to say today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for that intro. And you are right. This is a really important topic, especially today in 2016, where the excitement, the buzz around social media as a new channel, it's kind of died down, right? It's like we all get it, right? Like, social media is here. Facebook, Twitter, these are big publicly traded companies now. So it's not so much about the excitement of having this new channel to just quote unquote engage, but how do we actually drive real business value from social? And that is what we're going to talk about today. Thank you again to everybody who is live and ready to go. We chatted for a few minutes with Joseph before the webinar, as well as with Leslie, two business owners who are joining us today. We've got a whole bunch of other folks joining the webinar as well. We've got Haneen here, Matthew, James, Sarosha from Toronto, Smadar from Amsterdam. We've got Letitia here from Atlanta, and a whole host, Roel from Trinidad and Tobago as well, and a whole host of other folks. So again, thanks so much for joining us. So just to introduce myself a little bit, my name is Chris. I run strategy at Heyo, as Jeff said. And Heyo is a great platform for creating social media campaigns that convert. And we have a particularly soft spot for small businesses. That is who we built our product for. That is who we serve. And they're our favorite and our best customers. And so that is who we are. So in the next 40 minutes, here's my goal. We're going to learn first how to attract and engage the right social media audience. Second, my favorite strategy for turning fans into leads. And then finally, a step-by-step plan for nurturing those leads into sales. I'm going to walk you through this process and explain everything to you in a very actionable way. And then, of course, Jeff and I are going to save some time at the end for live Q&A. But first, let's dive in and actually talk a little bit about numbers. This is, I think, really important to ground ourselves in some data. I always say numbers don't lie, right? So let's take a look at a few right now. So what's the state of social media today in 2016? Well, Facebook has over 1.6 billion active users. Twitter has 310 million active users. Instagram, an entirely mobile app, has 400 million active users. That just helps give those three stats for those three platforms, I think, give you a sense of how big the social media behemoth is in 2016. A lot of people are using social. I know here in the US, it's a no-brainer. Everybody's on at least one or two social platforms and connecting and are very present there. So as a business, it's such a huge opportunity in social. There's so many people to connect with, to talk to help to learn about the products and services we offer. But how do we do that? I thought it was a really good and interesting stat that this last bullet, social media sources account for about 43% of all news traffic online. So social is the primary place where people are discovering news and current events. And that is actually more than on Google. So only 38% of news traffic comes from Google. That's a pretty astounding stat. So that's important to keep in mind. Social is huge. It's a big deal. Of course, we all probably know that. Now, this is really, really important. And I'd love to maybe hear Jeff's thoughts on this as well, too. But this is a study done by Global Web Index. And they surveyed a bunch of people here in the US, and they said, why do you use social media? And these are the top 5 reasons. And they went deeper than this. If you were to navigate to that URL down here at the bottom of my slide, there are like 10 or 15 different reasons they found. But here are the top 5 reasons people use social media: to stay in touch with friends, to stay up to date with news and current events, to fill up spare time, to find funny or entertaining content, and to share their opinion. So I'm curious, Jeff, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Like, when you read these top 5 reasons people are using social, is there anything in particular that stands out to you?
The one, share my opinion, I think is really, really important. That's what really excited me about social media when I first started, was the ability to reach the world with my voice. And that's what social media effectively has done. It's actually allowed people to have a voice that was not restricted by the gatekeepers. You didn't have to beg for attention. You actually could start creating online and share it with the world. And you could just share it with your friends on Facebook, or you could take it much more public by putting it on Twitter and a whole range of platforms. So I think really, as a real driver of human connection, I think the ability to actually share and then get that validated, because you see a lot of our younger people now, they're going, how many times did that get shared? How many times get it liked? And I think social media has become almost a validation of our opinion. And I think that's really, really important as an emotional driver.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, Jeff. And I like the point about how, social, if you think about it, it's an incredibly low friction way to get online and share my opinions and share content, right? I don't have to go spin up a website anymore to be able to do that. I could just go to social media and share. When I look at all 5 of these and kind of wrap them all up together, basically I feel like people are getting on social media sites to connect with family and friends, to find interesting and funny content, and to share stuff. Like Jeff said, to share my opinion, to share some of these updates, to stay in touch. One important note here, folks: they are not getting on social media to be marketed to. They are not getting on social media to be sold to. That doesn't mean there isn't opportunity on social as a business. In fact, that's the whole point of today's webinar. There absolutely is, and I'm going to teach you how to unlock it. But keep that in mind, that as the consumer comes to social media platforms, they're looking to connect with their friends and family and find interesting content, not necessarily to see something promotional and dive in and buy. So with that in mind, here's the funnel we're going to be walking through today. When you think about the real value you get from social media and from engaging with fans and consumers on social media, this is the approach that I have seen work best for most businesses. It starts, of course, with driving fans and engagement. That is kind of the core of social. Like Jeff said, so many people look to social media for like, how many likes did I get? How many shares did I get? And it's kind of a badge of honor or a validation, if you will, for their opinion and what they shared. So we're going to start with engagement. But then we're going to talk about this. We're adding this middle layer to the funnel, right? Again, people aren't coming to social to be sold to. So instead, we're simply going to give them an opportunity to opt into something, to become a lead for our business. And then from there, we can nurture those leads and then drive revenue. And the last section we're going to talk through today is how we turn those leads into sales. Now, take a moment, if you will, and read this quote on my screen. This is the reason that I believe, one of the reasons I believe this strategy works so well. I'm going to give you guys just a moment to read this quote. It is a tried and true sales principle that if you can get someone to take a small step, they are then exponentially more likely to take a second, larger step. So that is exactly what this quote means. This is a quote from Dean Reek, who's a very well-known sales author. But basically, by simply getting folks to, instead of selling directly to them on social, instead, what we do is if we get them to simply opt in to something, to some other opportunity, and become a lead, we then make them more likely to buy from us in the future. Leslie chimed in on chat and said, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is a true sales principle. So let's dive right into how to attract and engage the right social media audience? First of all, this is a really important equation. Now, for those of you that are looking at this and are saying, wait a minute, this looks like math. I don't like this very much. Don't worry, I'm going to talk you through it. So here's what this means. This equation represents how social media platforms choose what content to show you when you log in. You being all of us, right? So here's why this is important. When these social media platforms launch initially, all of them, when Facebook first launched, when Twitter first launched, when Instagram first launched, etc., they show content to you in chronological order. For the most part, Twitter still does this. When I go log into Twitter, what's at the top of my Twitter feed? The most recent tweets. That's what's at the top. But over time, as more and more people use the platform and more people produce content, all of these platforms are starting to curate content. I want to hear Jeff's opinion on this as well here. But basically, Facebook already does this. We all know, we all feel the pain of that, right? Because we see, oh man, our Facebook reach, my business Facebook reach is falling. So Facebook for sure already does this. Instagram now does it too. Twitter has talked about doing it, and it's likely that they might do it again in the future. So I think it's really important to understand the factors that influence how the platforms actually choose what content to show you, and especially your fans. So Jeff, yeah, I'm interested to get your opinion on this as well. As I said, I feel like all the platforms are moving this way, and it's important as you think about how to engage your audience. It's important to kind of understand these different factors that weigh in and how to kind of turn them in your favor. But do you have any thoughts about this process, or have you run into this issue yourself?
This is quite a big issue in terms of how you use social media. So we're moving away from a chronological timeline on just about any platform. Instagram's just done it, so they're actually serving up to you what they believe you need to see. So the issue then becomes the organic reach of social media platforms. So we're moving into what's called a pay-to-play environment. And social media platforms are going to continue to do this because they want to monetize by serving up ads in the timeline that are relevant. And Facebook's been doing this for 3 years now. So the reality is that this is not going to change. And Twitter's been talking about it. In fact, I think it's sort of done it, but it's been changing its algorithm. The challenge for platforms like Twitter is that Twitter's philosophy is about breaking news. So that gets harder to filter. But Facebook hasn't had to do that. So, but Instagram's just done it. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens across all the other platforms. But
totally agree.
It's just it's a reality, and social media is growing up. It's maturing, and everyone's working out. All the network owners are trying to work out how to work with it.
Yeah, really, really good points, Jeff. And let's talk through these three factors. For the most part, like I don't have a crystal ball, right? I can't tell you exactly what's behind Facebook's algorithm, Twitter's algorithm, Instagram's algorithm, etc. But what I can tell you is, for the most part, here are the three factors that these platforms generally look to rank content. First is affinity. What this means for you as a brand is the more your fans like, comment, and share and click on your posts, then the more affinity the platform feels that they have for your brand. So the more likely they are to see future content. Weight is simply how many overall likes, comments, shares, favorites, etc. How overall, how much engagement does your content get? And if a piece of content gets a lot of engagement across the board, then the platform says, well, this must be pretty important, so we're going to show it to a lot more fans, so more people will see it. And then finally, decay. There is a factor of time, right? The more recent the content is, the more likely it is to get seen. So this is really important. Let me do a quick check-in with you guys here in GoToWebinar in the questions panel. If you're with me, type in "with you" in the GoToWebinar questions. If you're with me, type in "with you" on the GoToWebinar questions. Okay, Kate says, "I'm with you." Joseph, with you. Donna, Bonnie, Terry, Tiffany. Okay, cool, good. All right, guys. Awesome. Let's keep going. So with that, how do we think about driving more engagement? The first thing I would do is sit down, get out a pad and pencil, and jot down a few notes. Think about who is your target customer. That is the question. Who is the person I most want to reach? And here are a few questions I would ask yourself about this person. First of all, what kind of content are they likely to engage with? Are they likely to engage with pictures, video, funny memes, questions that you might throw out to them, industry news? What kind of content are they likely to engage with? The second is, what time of day are they likely to be online? And actually, the next question is very similar. It's what day of the week. So basically, what times and days are they most likely to be online? Are they a busy mom who is really super busy in the morning, taking care of business, getting kids off to school, and then comes back to the house at maybe late morning and likes to get online and connect with folks and read the news? Is this a working professional? Is she busy at work all day long and likes to check in the evenings? What time of day does your target customer like to be online, and what days of the week are they more likely to be online on the weekends, during the week, etc.? And then also think about the demographics of your target customer. Are they in a particular geographic location? Are they in a particular town or even postcode? Are they a particular gender? Are they a particular age? So jot down a few notes. This doesn't have to be a big, scary exercise. Just take 5 or 10 minutes. Try to imagine your target customer and jot down a few thoughts about who they are. It's important to know who you're crafting content for. Here are some of the tools you can use. Facebook and Twitter have the most robust reporting. So you can use Facebook Insights to find out a lot of these questions, or Twitter Analytics. They'll tell you, okay, your fans, your followers are mostly women, are mostly this age group, are online on these days, these times of days. So you can get a lot of this information directly from the platform, which is tremendously helpful. Okay, so with that, 3 tips for you. First off, mix content. So if you're not sure, or even if you think right, it's always best to test. Again, numbers don't lie. So take the time and actually test different types of content to your audience. Try photos, try video, try questions and text updates. You can try some different current events and industry news. It's always really valuable. My second recommendation, and I think this is a real big one, okay, is to keep content timely. So I've read this in research. I have seen it anecdotally myself. I've seen firsthand as well. Status updates or tweets or any kind of content that has a tie-in to something current is going to get shared and engaged with more. So for instance, it could be a holiday. It could be a current event, something that just happened. It could be a large sporting event. In this example, this is a little fun status update on Facebook from Will Smith. And he says, hey, wishing Sergio Aguero a victorious run in the Copa America 2015 tournament. So this big tournament was happening. This is last year. And he tagged Sergio Aguero and he tagged the tournament name, right, in Facebook. So these types of posts that are really current tend to get engaged with a heck of a lot more. So my third and last recommendation in terms of engagement is to use social proof. So here's Will Smith, right? What do I mean by social proof? Well, that basically means don't tell people how great you are. Show them how wonderful you are. Show them how good your business is. Okay, so here's Will Smith. He just did an interview on a talk show, and he took a picture with the studio audience. And it's an incredible piece of social proof. Wow, look how famous Will Smith is. He was on a talk show. He's surrounded by all these cheering fans. Now, none of us are probably ever going to be on a talk show. Actually, I bet Jeff is interviewed on a lot of talk shows. But outside of Jeff, probably not. Most of the rest of us will not be. But we might go to conferences or industry events. We might have customer testimonials. There are lots of things we can share, lots of information or photos that we can share that would show social proof to our social media audience. Here are a few favorite tools for the job as you think about posting and engaging on social media. There's no right answer here. There are lots of great platforms, but here are a few that I found and that have been helpful. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful for you. All right. Section 2, my favorite strategy for turning fans into leads. So think back to that funnel slide I showed you right at the beginning of the presentation, right? So At the top was engagement. Now you're using this process. Let's pretend you've got lots of good engagement happening. You're feeling really good. The fire is stoked, right? How do you then get those folks to opt in and become a lead? Now, there are lots of ways to do this. You can give away a free piece of content, like a free ebook or PDF guide or some other download. You can simply ask them to opt in. Hey, join my, would you, offer them your email newsletter, get my free weekly email newsletter with all the best content I promote or I put out. So that's something you can do. My favorite strategy for turning fans into leads is to launch a social contest for this reason. I have found no other tool like a social contest, and this could be a giveaway, or this could be a photo contest that lets users snap a picture and upload it, and the photos get voted on. There are lots of different types of social contests, but at the end of the day, this is a fun event people get really excited about. And I've never found another vehicle that is so good at bringing in a high volume of leads in a short amount of time, usually 1 to 2 weeks. So I'm going to break down for you the top 5 success measures for a successful social contest. So these are the top 5 things that we found to be crucial when you're running a social contest to make sure that you include. So I'm going to walk through those right now. Number 1, offer a strong incentive. This is the prize, right? Like, what are you giving away? And there are lots of things you can do, but here's my recommendation. Don't give away something that's incredibly generic, like an iPad or an Amazon gift card. Okay, so here's why. Now you might think, well, wait a minute. I think lots of people would like an iPad. You're exactly right. An iPad would be an awesome prize. That's the problem. Everybody would want an iPad. My 11-year-old son would love to have his own iPad, and he would be a horrible lead for your business because he has no money. He just spends it all as soon as he gets it. So something that's that generic or general is likely to be desirable by lots of people, and most of them probably won't be the right leads for your business. I prefer a prize that is targeted, very well targeted to the customer persona you're trying to attract. Remember those few notes you jotted down earlier when you were planning your content. Think about that person again. What would they really care about? Okay. Could be something experiential, could be something exclusive, could simply be some free product. That's okay. But I would highly recommend that. That's number 1. Number 2 is to create a sense of urgency with a 10-day countdown. The simplest way to create a sense of urgency is to place a countdown timer directly on your contest landing page. Now, here's the thing. It's the internet. It's so full of distraction, and the opportunities to be distracted are abound right now in 2016. There are baby hedgehog videos. There's all kinds of stuff out there, right? So in any case, put a countdown timer on the page to create a little bit of urgency and get people to take action right away. I like to set this as a 10-day counter. It gives you enough time to market the campaign, to promote it, to get people coming to the campaign landing page and opting in. Okay, number 3, make it easy to enter. This, I know, probably seems like a no-brainer, but I think it's important to say. Make sure it's explicit and very clear how people can enter the contest, and it should be a short form. It can simply be one field, which is email address. If you want to also collect name and email address, that's great. I would be cautious about collecting too much information. Every additional piece of data that you ask for will lower your conversion rate. So keep that in mind. A pro tip here, connect your campaign landing page to your email marketing platform and set up an autoresponder so that as soon as people enter your campaign, enter your social contest, they're placed directly in your email marketing platform and you can communicate with them right away. So let me ask you guys this. In the GoToWebinar questions, let me know, what email marketing platform do you use currently? What email marketing platform do you use currently? And Jeff, while we wait for some of these answers to come in, is there a platform, or are there platforms that you've used in the past that have worked pretty well for email marketing?
In terms of landing pages for email marketing, I found that lead pages is just sensational. It's a very low cost and easy way to actually create landing pages. So, and also offering something of real value. But you can offer something that might just be a download, like a PDF, if you want to keep it simple. I use free ebooks, but the platform I've found is creating landing pages to capture emails that I do is lead pages.
Yeah. And what email marketing platform do you like to use? Or are there several maybe? Does it depend on the situation?
It depends very much on the situation. When you're starting out, I would keep it quite simple, something like MailChimp. I was using Aweber initially. When you want to ramp it up and start building out email marketing funnels, you want to get really pro, you go to something like, I like using Fusionsoft, which is quite complicated, and I have a tech guy that looks after that for me. But it depends on where you are in terms of your, I suppose, maturation in terms of your marketing processes. So don't overcomplicate it from the start, and then you can grow into more complicated marketing as an email marketing platform.
Yeah, I like that advice. I think too often we worry a lot about the tool, but in reality, like the right tool is the one that you'll use, right? So it looks like, I pulled the audience here a bit. It looks like a lot of people using MailChimp, not surprisingly. Campaign Monitor, several people using GetResponse, Constant Contact. A couple of people say they use HubSpot. Joseph says, "Yeah, I'm testing out HubSpot." Cool. So yeah, these are all great tools. But regardless of whatever tool you're using, my recommendation would be to, if you can, sync your contest page directly to your email marketing platform. That's tip number 3. Make it easy to enter. And then tip number 4: turn your fans into marketers. So this is hugely important. Put some smart sharing options embedded directly on the page so that as folks are entering, they also have the opportunity to share this contest with their friends and their fans. Okay, so here's why that's so important, and here's why that can be so valuable. Let's say this is a guy named Paul. Okay, meet Paul. He's going to enter your contest, and he's going to share and tweet it out to all of his followers. Now, let's say Paul has 250 friends and followers on social, and between Facebook and Twitter. And that's a pretty conservative number. I think most people nowadays have a lot more, but let's just say it's 250. Of the 250 friends and followers, let's say that just 5 choose to click through and enter your contest as well. Okay, Paul just got you 5 more entries. Now, each of the 5 of them also share and tweet your contest out to all of their followers and their fans. And let's say each of them have 250. Well, you can see where I'm going, right? If each of their fan base or their friend base or whatever, if out of each of them, they also each bring in 5 more entries, all of a sudden, boom, check out your campaign's reach, right? This is really, really awesome. This is what's called virality, getting people sharing something exciting and interesting to help drive word of mouth and make it more successful. So tip number 4, turn your fans into marketers. Tip number 5, and this is such an important one in 2016, everyone, make your contest page mobile friendly. Make it mobile friendly. 2 things I'll point out. One is 54%, and this is right out of Facebook's Q1 earnings call. Yes, I geek out and I listen to Facebook's earnings calls and Twitter's, because that's just how I roll. 54% of Facebook users are only going to Facebook from their phones. They're not even using it on a computer. 54%, more than half. We also, what this chart shows you on the right side of my slide, and this is a ComScore analysis, is that basically about roughly 2 years ago, we passed the point where we now, and this is based globally, okay, so this is across the world, we now as a world spend more time on the internet from our phones than from our computers. So this dark blue line is time on the internet on desktop, and the light blue line is on mobile. And you can see how mobile back in 2007 was only a third of the size of desktop traffic, but over time it's eclipsed desktop, and now more people are on the internet from their phones. So make sure that your campaign landing page is entirely mobile friendly. In fact, make it mobile responsive. I would highly recommend. If you don't do that, you're missing out on probably half your potential leads, which is a big deal. So when this works, what I'll tell you is when you follow these 5 tips and run a successful social contest, it should convert at, I would say, around 20% and higher. 20% or higher. And so here are 3 examples I want to show you of very successful campaigns that followed all of these 5 steps. This is Stein Home Improvement. They're a small family-owned hardware store business in Louisiana. They have a couple of locations, and they ran this social contest, this giveaway, and they got almost 19,000 impressions and collected 6,500 new emails. Their conversion rate was 34%. So again, north of 20. Okay, it was extremely successful. This is very cool as a contest. This is Goren Brothers hat making company. They're based on the West Coast. They have a couple of retail locations as well, but they primarily sell their hats online. They had a very innovative contest. They followed all the right rules. They had over 10,000 impressions, but most impressively, they converted at almost 80%. So over 8,000 new email leads came into the business from this one campaign. It was a huge success. This is one of the highest converting campaigns I've ever seen. To be clear about that conversion rate of 78%, what that means is for every 100 people that viewed the contest page, 78 of them entered their details for a chance to win. 78. And this is I Love Camping, a very simple fan site for camping enthusiasts, and they sell camping products. And they also ran a giveaway. They generated over 5,300 impressions and converted at almost 60%. So they got 2,400 new emails. Now, look, so the scales can always be different with these things. If you've got a relatively small audience, maybe you're only converting a couple of hundred new leads. But like I said, over the course of 7 to 10 days, the ability to collect a strong volume of new leads is incredibly high with running this type of contest. So far you've learned, first, how to attract and engage the right social media audience. Second, my favorite strategy for turning fans into leads. And next up is a step-by-step plan for nurturing leads into sales and some live Q&A. But first, a quick question. You guys are at a decision point. Would you like me to show you how to build a social contest page? Would you like me to show you how to do that? Just tell me yes if you'd like me to do that in the GoToWebinar questions. If you don't want me to, just type in skip, and I would be happy to skip it. I want to make sure I'm only presenting content that's really valuable for you guys and gals. All right, Jeff, I'm seeing lots and lots of yeses. Yes, yes. I love the all caps, Letitia. I love the caps and the exclamation points, Tiffany. Roel says definitely. Okay, we do have 2 skips, to be fair. Okay, cool. So a couple of skips. For those of you that said skip, it's overwhelmingly positively yes. Let's go ahead and do it. But I'll just try to be really efficient. So let me ask you guys a question. I would love to use one of your actual businesses for this quick demo. So if you don't mind, let me know in the GoToWebinar questions your website URL. What is your website URL? Let me know in the GoToWebinar questions, and I'll have a look at some of these. So I'll share with you guys right now. So as I mentioned earlier on, so Heyo is a social campaign platform, and you can build these types of contests with Heyo. So there are, plenty of other platforms you could choose from that are out there in cyberspace to help you build a contest landing page. I'm obviously going to share with you how to do this in Heyo because it's my platform. It's what I know best. Okay. Wow, Jeff, these are a lot of really cool businesses. Campy Photos, Vinebox, Cityfied, very cool. A whole bunch of different businesses here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see, I think this is really cool. I'm going to go ahead and use, if he's okay with it, I'm going to use Joe's business of Bananas at Large right here. So this is a musical instrument business. It looks like they sell musical equipment and supplies. Joseph. I shouldn't call you Joe if you prefer Joseph. And I'm going to actually unmute Joe real quick and make sure that's okay with him. I just called you Joe again. Hey, Joseph, I've unmuted you. Are you still there?
Absolutely, and Joe's totally okay. That's
Oh,
fine. Thank you.
okay, cool. So Joe, okay, is it okay if we use your business here for this quick demo?
That would be great. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
I'm going to leave you unmuted. You don't have to say anything, but I might ask you a question here or there. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and log into Heyo. And here I am on the Heyo dashboard. And I'm going to go ahead and click this big orange create a campaign button right here. So I'm going to name this, let's call this our summer sweepstakes. Now, there are a number of things I can do with Heyo, but I'm going to click run a social contest. That's what we're all about. And first on the list, you can see on the right-hand side, I've got different templates I can choose from. But first on the list is the sweepstakes template. So I'm going to select that. Now, you'll notice, Joe and everybody else, that what we found has been most, these 5 components I just walked through with you guys that we found make a social contest most successful. We've gone ahead and just baked into this template, right? So that you guys already have them there. So I'm going to go ahead and click save and start editing, and then I'm off to the races. Now you'll notice that here in the middle is my campaign canvas. And as I highlight over these different widgets, they, as I mouse over them, they highlight, and I can click on each one and I can edit them. So I'm going to start right here at the top left with the logo. I'm going to click that. And here on the right-hand side, I've got some options. So I'm just going to go back to Joe's website. I see he's got his logo nice and large here at the top, centered on the web page. So I'm going to right-click that. I'm going to copy the image address. And I'm going to just paste that right in here. And then boom, Joe, there's your logo. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes at the bottom right. Next up is the countdown timer. So I can select the contest end date. Now, Joe, do you remember, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you remember how long I recommended setting the countdown timer for?
For 10 days.
10 days, exactly. And not surprisingly, that's the default time that we set is 10 days. So you can change it here on the right-hand side. You can change the end date or the end time. I'm going to leave it at 10 days. For those of you that are on, by the way, and are international, or you're from a non-English speaking country, that is perfectly okay. All of these widgets have labels, and you can always hit the drop down and you can change the text for the labels on the countdown timer and on all these other widgets as well. Okay, so cool. So contest end date already set. Sign up form is next. Joe, you mentioned, I think you said you were thinking about trying HubSpot. Is there an email marketing platform you guys use already?
We're using MailChimp right now.
MailChimp, got it. Okay, cool. So you'll notice on the right-hand side, everyone, there are a number of platforms that Heyo already integrates with. And, MailChimp is obviously one of them. There are a whole bunch of them here. And a lot of people mentioned GetResponse. Some of you mentioned Constant Contact. I think 1 or 2 of you mentioned Campaign Monitor. Jeff mentioned Infusionsoft. So all of these are easily integrated with. You can also choose to just have your leads stored by Heyo, and so that you can download them at any time. But let's go ahead and assume we're going to sync this to your MailChimp account. So I'm just going to pick that, and Heyo then syncs to my MailChimp account. I choose the list I want leads placed in, and boom, I'm done. Here I can customize my form. So let's say, Joe, we're going to collect first name and email address. I'm just literally going to edit it right here. I can move these around. So let's say I want name to be above email. Same thing here. I can change the labels. I've got some advanced options if I want to change labels and color. Let's make the button text enter to win. A pro tip here for you guys is that this button is pretty important, right? It's your call to action. It's what you want people to click on when they fill out the form and enter the contest. I would make sure you keep this button. You can customize the color of it right here in Heyo. I would make sure you keep this button somewhere on the orange-red color spectrum. It could be a deep red, it could be a bright pink, it could be a light orange, maybe even a dark yellow. But that, to the human brain, is the alert color spectrum. It's the reason that stop signs are red. And I would highly recommend, and stoplights are red, and I would highly recommend leaving it in that color spectrum. It's what's most eye-catching. All right, cool. So that's the sign-up form. The next, this is super important, the share settings. So we want to make it really easy for people to share this campaign. Let's go back over to Joe's website here and look at this. Right at the top right, a bunch of social icons. So let's go ahead and click on the Facebook. Here's the Bananas at Large Facebook page. Looks great. A nice happy Father's Day post right at the very timely. I like that, obviously. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the URL to Joe's Facebook page. I'm going to paste it in here so that now people are prompted to like the Bananas at Large Facebook page as they enter. The URL to share, if you guys take a close look at this, this note in the blue dialog box, I'm going to leave this field blank because what we do is we automatically default to sharing this page if you leave that field blank. If you would rather have a different URL shared on Facebook and Twitter, you can go ahead and paste it in here, but again, I'm going to leave it blank. But this is just filler text here for the share tweet text, so I'm going to put something in right myself. So I'm going to say, I just entered to win this great prize. Check it out. Not the most creative copywriting, Joe, but you get the idea. That's cool. By the way, I see the Twitter here. It looks like Bananas at Large is the Twitter handle. Let's drop in your Twitter handle here as well. So let's check it out at Bananas at Large. And I'll save changes. Okay, cool. Now, potentially the most important thing on the page, Joe, is this big, bright image, right? So we can edit this now. If you were going to give away a prize, what do you think it might be? Might it be like a free musical instrument or something else? I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. It could be a ukulele, potentially, or a guitar lesson, or yeah, I probably would say something like that. Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Could be a guitar as well.
Okay, great. I like this Fender limited edition. I noticed that this is quite a nice prize, but let's just pretend. So, hey, the more compelling it is, the better. Let's just say, I should say, I noticed that this was kind of coming from like a sale area, right, where you've got stuff that's discounted. If you're going to give away your own product, why not give something away that you've got excess inventory of, right? It's an easy thing to do. We have a client that's a big Toyota dealership on the West Coast. They actually give away used cars for these social contests. And of course, they're incredibly successful. But often they're giving away a car that's been on the lot for a long time. It still has a lot of value, but it's been kind of hard to sell. So that's something to think about. I'm also going to just copy the image address here as well. I'm going to paste that in here. Boom. Okay, looks great. Very cool looking guitar. Okay, so I think we're looking pretty good here, Joe. We've got a text area here down below that we could use to customize some marketing copy or some rules if we want them here. And I can update the font type, the font size. I can make this different colors. I can add links, whatever I want. But I've got a full text editor here to make that look just so. The last stop before publishing is previewing this campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save and Preview. All right, Joe, what do you think, man?
This looks great. I mean, if this was published, I know people would just be so excited, and we'd get a lot of engagement.
Okay, now wait a minute, Joe. Did I pay you to say that?
No.
Look, I hope you guys got a sense. Obviously, I did this really quickly, but honestly, I agree with you. I think it looks pretty good, and hopefully you get a feel for how easy this is to do. You don't need to know how to code to start one of these contests yourself. Now, here's the most important thing. Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time. You're being a really good sport, by the way.
Great.
Do you remember the last tip I gave about creating a social contest?
I thought it was make it easy to sign up. Let's see, but
that was number 4. Number 5 had something to do with where we spend our time online, what devices we're using.
Make it mobile optimized. I got it in my notes.
Make it mobile. There you go. Cool. So that's exactly right. So now check this out. So here's your campaign, your contest page. It's all set up. It looks good. Now watch this. I'm going to click this magic button right here. Boom. So here's your campaign landing page. Ready to go for your contest, fully mobile responsive. Again, this is so important So, so important in today's day and age to make sure that you are using, however you build your contest page, make sure it's mobile responsive. Also looks pretty good, right? Everything's lined up nice, easy to enter.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So now here's the cool thing. I'm going to go ahead and click publish. Now don't stress. I'm just going to publish this to a little test page I've got, Joe. So I'm going to click this little test page and get this campaign live. Now here's what Heyo is going to do. Once the campaign is live, it's going to give us this thing called a smart URL. And this is really cool. It's what I call a URL with a brain. And so I'm just going to copy this. And anywhere that I want to promote this campaign, this contest, I'm just going to paste this smart URL. And it knows what device the viewer is on. So if I paste this URL into my browser, excuse me, it knows that I'm on a laptop and it takes me straight to the contest page on Facebook.
Wow. Cool.
If I were on a mobile phone, it's going to take me straight to that mobile responsive version. That is really important. Again, you know, more than half of your leads are probably going to come from mobile. So it's a big deal. Okay, cool. Hopefully that was relatively quick and painless, everyone, and hopefully you learned a lot. It is incredibly simple to do. Joe, again, thank you so much for being our little guinea pig here.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very intrigued, and it's exciting. I've had a lot of contest ideas and people wanting me to do contests, and honestly, it's been hard for me to implement that. So this is cool.
Okay, good. Awesome. Well, thanks again. I'm going to put you back on mute for now, but thanks, Joe. All right, cool. So everyone, again, thank you so much for following along. So there you go. It's just that easy. Let's get into, and I'm going to try to move relatively quickly through this last section. But now this is where the rubber meets the road. You've gotten good engagement. We've run this social contest. Let's say Joe ran a social contest and he got a few hundred, maybe over 1,000 new email leads, maybe more. Now, how do we nurture those leads into sales? So here is my recommendation. I'm going to share with you 5 steps to follow. I'm going to start off with a quick case study. This is Solo Stove. They're an online retailer that sells these very cool little backpacking stoves. If you're outdoorsy like our good friend Jeff Bullis, and you like to bike and hike and you know, do really cool things outdoors, this might be right up your alley, right? And so they sell these camp stoves online at solostove.com. And basically how this works is they ran a contest, use the same template I just used to build Joe's campaign. They got over 1,000 impressions, captured almost 500 new emails. Most importantly, they then, with those 474 new emails, they were able to convert quite a few new leads into actual sales. And over the next 90 days, they generated thousands of dollars in new sales through their website. So how did they do it? These are the 5 steps they followed. So watch very closely. I'm going to move pretty quickly. First, they build and publish their contest. That's simple. We just walked through how to do that. That's step 1. Step 2 is set up a thank you email. This is the first email that a contest entrant should get, and it should do 3 things. First, thank them for entering. Second, prepare them for receiving more email. So you can see here, Solo Stove said, hey, thanks for entering. We'll be announcing the winner on May 16th. So be sure to watch your inbox. So prepare them for receiving more email. That's really important. Third, and finally, offer an opportunity to connect. Offer an opportunity to connect. That's step 2. Set up a thank you email. This should be an autoresponder. So for Joe, he's connecting his contest page to MailChimp, and that autoresponder is coming from MailChimp. Step 3 is a no-brainer. Promote your contest. Promote the heck out of it. I would say, first of all, promote it organically on social media, anywhere that you've got any kind of social media audience. Second would be to promote it anywhere else that you have an audience. So if you've got a website with traffic or a blog with blog subscribers, or even an email list, promote it to your audience anywhere else. Now, the email list, I realize you already have their email address, but you don't have their friends, right? And many of them are going to share the contest as well. Third, and finally, consider well-targeted ads. Facebook ads can be very effective, so consider smart, well-targeted advertising as well. Step 4 is send a wrap-up email. This is really important. So what this means is if you have 100 people enter your contest, just to make the math easy, one of them is going to win that great guitar that Joe gave away, right? The other 99 should get this email. It's the first stop, the first email that they should get where you've got a chance to be promotional. This email, I think, should do 3 things. And this is the exact email that Solo Stove sent. First of all, communicate that they didn't win in a very polite way. Hey, our recent giveaways come to an end. The winner's been posted. Unfortunately, you didn't win this time. Second, remind them about future emails. Again, psychologically, you can probably see this point. I really like psychologically setting them up that they're going to be receiving more email from you. So they're saying, hey, however, we plan on having several more contests and giveaways throughout the year, so please continue to check for emails from us. Third, offer a coupon code. Here's your chance to be promotional. They said, as a token of our appreciation for your entry, we would like to invite you to enjoy 10% off your next purchase. And here's a coupon code. Big, not surprisingly, orange button that drives to their online store. This was a perfect email from Solo Stove. So step 4 is send a wrap-up email when the contest is over to everybody who didn't win. And then finally, step 5 is to nurture and sell with more email. This is this is something that Solo Stove did extremely well. And here are a couple of example emails from them. Now, this might be nurturing them with good content. Jeff Bullis is the king of that, right? He produces amazing content. I love to read it myself. So send out interesting articles, send out videos about how your products are made, nurture them with good content, but then don't be afraid to get promotional. Send out some special offers, let them know when you're running a sale. You can invite them to future contests that you're running, like this one on the left-hand side that Solo Stove did. So continue to nurture and sell with email. If you follow those 5 steps, it is highly likely, will greatly increase your chances for success. Okay. Here's another great case study. This company, Scoot Boot, which makes these really interesting, and they're based in Australia. They make these really interesting modern horseshoes that are better for horses. They ran a giveaway, promoted it extremely well, and followed all of these steps. They got over 8,500 new impressions, captured over 3,800 new emails. Now, here's the impressive thing. And this is one of those moments where I was able to close the loop with the customer, okay? Talk to Kathy and her husband, Steve, who ran this campaign. And those 3,800 new email leads generated over $50,000 in new sales over the next 3 months after the campaign. That is incredibly impressive. So there you go. It works. So far you've learned how to attract and engage the right social media audience, my favorite strategy for turning fans into leads, and a step-by-step plan for nurturing leads into sales. And now stay tuned because Jeff and I are going to stay with you for some live Q&A as well. But first, a quick question. Tell me in the GoToWebinar questions, yes or no, have you learned at least 2 new things today? Joe said up front, he said, I just am here to hang out and learn some new stuff. He mentioned he was taking notes, so I hope he is. I've delivered on that. But yes or no in the GoToWebinar questions, have you learned at least 2 new things on this webinar? Awesome. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Jeff, I'm seeing a lot of good yeses here, which is really good. Kate says, so helpful. Yes, yes, yes. Haneen says, yeah, plenty. Mertuza, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, says, yes, just found a great way to engage audience and generate leads. Shanna says, mixed content, keep it timely, show social proof. Awesome. I love that you guys are quoting back what you're hearing from me. Awesome. Tiffany says, 3 pages of notes and creatively thinking of ideas. This is really great. So awesome. Well, Jeff, I have a question for you, if you don't mind. And I hope this is okay with you. But I've put together a little bit of a special offer for your audience, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to ask them if they're interested in hearing about it. Would that be all right?
That's absolutely fine. So that's what we do. We make sure we give our readers and subscribers to the blog, we give them great offers. So go ahead.
Okay, good. Okay. And it awesome. And I did put something together special for you. And you guys, I just need to say, I haven't said much yet here about Jeff. He said some nice things about me up front. Jeff is just a tremendous guy and is doing so many great things online. obviously, all of you are part of his audience and understand the great value he provides to us who are trying to run a successful business online. He's been a great partner for us and a good friend. And so I did put something special together for you. So if you'd like to hear about it, just type bonus in the GoToWebinar questions. Some of you have already started, which is good. Jeff, Leslie says you're one of the most helpful people online. That is really nice. Thanks, Leslie. Okay, cool. So, all right, cool. Everyone's saying yes. Bonus. Okay, cool. So let me just talk through this again. I'll try and be quick. So first off, here's what's included in your Heyo package. I want you to understand what you get when you sign up for Heyo. First of all, you can launch as many campaigns as you'd like. Second, you've got access to photo and video contest templates. We didn't even really talk about these. We focused on the sweepstakes or the giveaway, but this is the age of the selfie. People love snapping pictures of themselves, their food, their dog, their kids, and they get really into photo contests. I've seen some really successful ones run. So you've got access to great photo and video contest templates with sharing, with voting within the Heyo interface. You've got access to the giveaway and sweepstakes template that we talked about, and you saw a lot of here live today. You've got access to lead gen templates. So if you want to give away a free ebook or other download, you can do that as well. You've got direct email marketing integrations. You saw that list with folks like MailChimp and Aweber, Constant Contact, and Infusionsoft, so that you can connect your campaign pages directly to the email marketing platform of your choosing. And set up those autoresponders and follow that same process that Solo Stove followed and Scootboot followed. So important. You've got mobile versions of your campaigns to capture mobile leads. All of our contest templates are mobile responsive. You set up the template and it's already mobile. It's ready to go. Hopefully you saw how easy Heyo is. It's designed for beginners. It's got a very simple user interface. You don't need to know how to code. And also, it's an approved application that integrates directly with Facebook. So, you can publish directly to a Facebook app. We're Facebook approved and ready to go. I'll also add, we've got great customer support. Our customer support team is fantastic, and they're great at providing not just technical support, but strategic help as well. So if you are interested in learning about like what type of prize to give away, or you just wonder, how to promote your campaign, they provide great tips and advice. Now, that's what you get with every Heyo package. But most importantly, because you're part of Jeff's audience, here's what you guys get today as bonuses for attending this webinar if you decide to purchase a Heyo plan. First of all, I'm going to lead with my best foot forward here, Jeff. We will feature your business in a blog post on the Heyo blog. So the Heyo blog is a very well-trafficked site with thousands of readers, thousands of email subscribers. And we will profile your business in a blog post and send it out to our email list for our blog. Second is you've got access to a live training with me called How to Run a Successful Contest to help ensure your success. So I put together this training I'm going to run just for everybody who buys on the webinar today. And we're going to set this up as a live call so that you can learn the ropes, and I can walk you through in even more detail how to use Heyo to build your contest and make it successful. I think this is really an important one because, a lot of times we might sign up for something and just wonder, man, am I ever going to use this? And I actually, I want to make sure you guys get started off on the right foot and have all the tools to be successful. You've got a great PDF guide called Picking the Right Prize. This is a very common question we get, as I mentioned, what type of prize should I give away? So we put together a guide on this. It includes 11 high converting ideas that you can copy to give you some food for thought and you can run with right away. Access to our invite-only mastermind group on Facebook. So we have a private Facebook group of all of our best customers. And this is the only time that I am opening up access to it to anybody is if you choose to buy today because you're part of Jeff's audience, we will allow you into our Facebook group. It's called the Heyo Hub. And in a lot of ways, it's like having a second support team at your side because the people on there are very, very savvy with online marketing, with contests and landing pages, and with Heyo, and they provide a lot of great help. It's a really nice community. You're also going to get a downloadable PDF of this information-packed slide deck and a free ebook called The Secret to Stunning Visual Content. Visual content like pictures and video have become incredibly important online and with social media. So what this does is it's a guide that a member of our team put together. He named Brooks. He really geeked out and he put this whole thing together. It talks about the rule of thirds, the phi grid, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, and he explains the science behind what makes an image beautiful to a human being. And so you can use that to craft content that gets more engagement on social media. And then finally, this one's very cool. We talked about engagement first thing. I've got a free 30-minute video course called How to Discover Content the Newsfeed Loves that you can pick up and run with right away to help you drive more engagement on social media. So everything on the left side of this slide you get with Heyo regardless. Everything on the right-hand side you only get if you buy on this webinar. And Heyo is only $29 a month. And if you're interested in grabbing a plan right now, you just go to heyo.com/Jeff in honor of our good friend Jeff Bullis. heyo.com/JEFF. And I just want to point out that this is not a contract. You could cancel it at any time. It's $29 per month, as I mentioned. We offer a complete risk-free guarantee anytime in the first 30 days. If you change your mind, and you decide, you know what, this just isn't for me, I'm just not going to do this, or I'm not sure I'm going to use this, or, whatever, I need to cut costs, that's no problem. You just send us an email to support@heyo.com, let us know, and we will grant you a full refund of your $29 that you paid today. And we'll, no questions asked. A lot, and heck, you could even keep the bonuses. And a lot of people say, well, that's kind of dumb, Chris. You could just sell this, special offer to me now. I'll cancel in 2 weeks and I'll keep all the bonuses. But I believe people are fundamentally good. I don't think anyone's going to do that. But I would rather just allow people to be comfortable. And again, feel really comfortable purchasing with no risk. So there you go. It's heyo.com/Jeff. And Jeff, if you don't mind, I can offer 8 of these today. There is a fixed cost for us to produce the blog post and to produce the training call. So I can offer 8 of these up to you guys. The first 8, feel free to grab them at heyo.com/Jeff, JEFF. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in and take some questions. So we would love to take your questions. It could be about the content that we presented today, about social media in general. You've got Jeff here, who's an online marketing expert. If you've got questions about Heyo or this offer, feel free to lob them out as well. But go ahead and provide them right in the GoToWebinar questions panel. Okay, right off the bat, Leslie says, what is the address to go to for the special offer? So let me show you that real quick. Okay. So here is a web browser, and I'm just going to type in heyo.com/Jeff. It's going to take me to a secure checkout page. And I can choose to pay annually or pay monthly. So monthly is the price I quoted, which is $29 a month. You just click pay monthly here at the bottom left on the page. If you'd prefer to pay annually, you can, and you actually save money. On average, it's only $21.75 a month instead of $29 a month, but you just pay $261 upfront. Same 30-day money-back guarantee applies. But that's how you get to it, Leslie, is just by going to heyo.com/Jeff. All right, cool. So I'll invite Jeff here to take some questions with me. We've got some questions coming in. First from Donna. Donna, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Donna says, my clients are service businesses like lawyers, marketers, and insurance companies. Can this work for them? I'll share my thoughts, and Jeff, feel free to jump in here. But I would say for sure, yes. We have lots of service companies that use Heyo to run contests with great success. What I will tell you is they're going to need to be a little bit more thoughtful about the prize they give away. Most businesses I've found will default to giving away their own product, which can work and generally works really well with retail and kind of consumer products. But with a service business, I'd recommend giving something away that's a related product. So for instance, Leslie, who's a real estate agent, rather than give away like a free home consultation, which she might do anyway, maybe she could give away like a Bluetooth lock or a gift card to, Crate and Barrel, or something that's complementary to her business and what she does, and would appeal to someone who's shopping for a new home, but isn't her own service that she's giving away. That would be my recommendation. Got lots of other great questions coming in. So we've got a great question here from Roel. How does social media strategy differ for a new nightclub or restaurant compared to strategy for a service or product? Jeff, I don't know if you've got any thoughts specifically about this. The one thought I have is certainly location, right? The nightclub or restaurant is a bricks and mortar business, and so your strategy on social is going to have to be more targeted based on that. But any other thoughts from you?
If you really wanted to maybe amplify it, you could actually do some targeted Facebook ads that would target an area. So if it's a certain city or town, then you could actually target that area. So you could amplify your content and just beyond your organic reach by doing it that way.
Yeah, I really like that. So yeah, Facebook has amazing targeting, everyone, for their Facebook ads. So simply boosting content, Roel, could be incredibly valuable for the restaurant, the nightclub, and yeah, that's one way to go. You can, and with the Facebook ad platform, you can target based on geography, as Jeff said. So that's something to think about. Donna says, yes, I did pronounce her name right. Okay, great. Thanks, Donna. Okay, Mertuza says, my question is, I'm going to start a design agency. So do you think that this contest thing can work for a service business like design services, and what can be the giveaway? A design agency. So what I would say, Mertuza, is yes, it can work. Absolutely. And as I said, I would think a little bit more critically about the prize as a services business. Same thing I said earlier applies. I wouldn't give away your own service. For one thing, it devalues your time a little bit, and where the service is mostly selling your time, then I would think about a product or some other prize to give away that relates to your design business. And it kind of depends on who your clients are, what and who your target customer is. But again, that same rule applies. Okay, lots of people, Jeff, asking about service versus product. Hopefully, you guys all have heard me answer that, and hopefully that makes sense. But let me know if you have more detailed questions about it. Haneen asked the question, how can I apply this if I run a nonprofit business? Haneen, what does the nonprofit do? Okay, a great question from Jesper. And Jeff, I'd love to hear your perspective on this as well, and kind of more broadly. But he says, hey, what if this social media contest is a failure for my business? How would I proceed from there? How would I learn from it and make a new, more effective one? So what I would say is, look, smart marketers test, and it's a great question, Jesper. Anytime you test a new strategy, it's possible it could not be a complete success, right? So what I would recommend is testing it and then analyzing the results. And if your contest didn't get any traffic to the page, if your impressions were really low, you've got a promotion problem, right? Because people aren't seeing it. If your impressions were really strong, but people weren't entering, if you were below that 20% threshold that I said is pretty typical for a successful contest, then if that's the case, then I would say you maybe need to rethink your prize or your incentive because for whatever reason it's not converting well. So I would say analyze the results and try again, um, based on the success or the failure. But Jeff, just kind of more broadly, I'd love to hear your perspective on this. I mean, it's a great question. Just anytime we test a new strategy, it may not work for us, or it may not work as we expect it to work. How do you approach? I mean, you test all kinds of strategies. How do you approach? Like, what do you do from there? Do you abandon it? Do you try it again? What do you recommend?
Sometimes it's just the headline. That can be a biggie for a lot of people who don't really work hard enough on the headline, which can be part of the offer. We actually, when I'm running landing pages for capturing emails off blog traffic that comes in, whether it's Twitter, we actually do A/B split testing, and I use, for example, I use SumoMe to A/B split test my landing page for offering the same ebook, but it's a different landing page. And the simple landing page works better than what's called the really nicely designed landing page, which
Amazing.
sort of goes against, which is amazing. So, don't assume the data will tell you, and what you've got to do is just persist and keep trying. So, don't try it once and give up. You've really just got to keep trying. So,
Great.
Persistence is the best way to look at it.
Yeah, I like that. You got to be persistent. You got to be resilient, right? Like sometimes things aren't going to work out, but you got to get back up on the horse and try again. I'm gonna try to unmute one or two folks to say hello real quick, and hopefully I'm not going to surprise them. But I'm going to unmute Kate. See if I can say hi real quick to Kate. Kate, I've unmuted you. Are you there?
I am.
Hey, Kate. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I have to ask, what did you think of the content on today's webinar? And I also have to ask why you decided to grab this offer at heyo.com/Jeff. Thank you so much for becoming part of the Heyo family.
You bet. I am starting a company with a couple of my buddies from college, and they put me in charge of social media. And I am, let's just say, a little bit new to the whole game, so I am really just like trying to learn as much as possible and be a sponge in any area that I can be.
Great. And so was this webinar helpful for you?
Really helpful. I did have the question, I don't know if you saw it, we don't have a large following of our target audience, and I just was wondering what you would say or recommend if we wait to run some type of campaign like this.
Got it.
Until we have a bigger following.
So it's a great question. And I think you need to, first of all, think about your audience overall online, because as I said, I highly recommend promoting these campaigns to whatever organic audience you have. So, if that means obviously usually social media followers and fans, but it can also mean if you've got a website live that's getting some traffic, it could mean putting a pop-up on the website to drive traffic to the contest page, right? Or leveraging an in-house email list. So I think you need to think about your audience holistically, first of all.
Okay.
It really helps. It really helps. Oh, hi, Kate's dog. It really helps to have some audience to kind of get the engine going, because
Right.
once you can start getting people entering, they'll start sharing it, and then that definitely helps. But I recommend having a little bit of audience, but you don't have to have a huge one. And that's one of the great things about the strategy. Even having just a small audience will usually bring you some new leads, right? And then that makes the audience bigger. So I definitely recommend testing it, even if your audience is relatively small.
Okay.
And the other thing I would say is you can make up the difference with ads. Like Jeff brought up Facebook ads, and that is a great strategy to employ. Just make sure you're really targeted about the ads that you use. That would be my recommendation. So I hope that's helpful.
Really helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. And Kate, thank you again for joining the Heyo family. It means a lot.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome. Cool. So let me say hi to one other person here. Let me see if I can find them. And then I think I do see a couple of other questions here as well. Let me see if I can say hi to Chris, who has joined as well. I'm going to unmute Chris. Hey, Chris, it's Chris with Heyo. I've unmuted you. Are you there?
Hi, Chris. I'm here.
Hey, Chris. So tell me, Chris, what did you think of the webinar content today, and why did you decide to grab this offer?
Well, something that I was looking at as well. I've seen contests before run by other marketing programs, and I see how successful they can be. I probably get hit with probably 10 million different watch this webinar and sign up for this thing. And um, the contest portion of things is one of the few things that makes me go, oh, this is pretty neat. If you can offer something very unique and very, helpful, it's something that's definitely interests me enough to sign up. So for me, I think it's probably part of the cutting edge. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. And, I just thank you so much for joining the Heyo family. I'm thrilled that you grabbed these bonuses. And they'll be going out tomorrow morning. So, again, thanks for joining up. And, again, thanks for attending the webinar as well.
Yeah, well, looking forward.
Whoops. Lost Chris there. Okay. So again, let me take a couple more questions here. But, Jeff, I do need to update this. I'm going to refresh my my screen real quick here. Okay, so we have 2 of these left. We've got 2 of these left, so I'm going to update the slide here. So we've only got 2 of these left, and if we've got more people than that are in the process of checking out, I'll honor those. But we've only got 2 packages left that I can honor. I'm going to watch this closely. All right, cool. So I am going to take a couple more questions here. Let me take a look here. We got a bunch more that have come in. Okay, I saw a great question from Joe, who we talked to earlier, from Bananas at Large. He says, do Heyo contests just live on Facebook, or can people enter on other social channels or on our website? Yeah, great question, Joe. They don't just live on Facebook. You've got a choice. You can publish them to Facebook. You can publish them on the web. And yes, you can promote them anywhere. So you can link to them on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on your website. And yes, you can actually what we call is basically iframe them in, or embed them, if you will, onto your website, so people can enter directly from your website as well. And that's a really smart strategy. So yeah, these pretty much can live anywhere online. And so that's a very simple way to leverage these contests. Okay. Eamon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, asks, he says, I am a social media agency. My question is Heyo compatible with Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn? Yes, it's compatible with all 3. So these promotions can be promoted, or I should say these campaigns can be promoted and are compatible with Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. They look great on LinkedIn. Okay, cool. Leslie says, I just signed up. Awesome. Leslie, thank you so much for joining the Heyo family. It's great to have you here. I'm going to keep going through with these questions. All right, cool. So I'm going to give you guys just a minute or two to pose any more questions. I think I've gotten through all the ones that have been asked. So one last reminder that if you're interested in grabbing the special offer for today and grabbing these bonuses, you just go to heyo.com/Jeff/JEFF to claim it, and it's just $29 a month. So as we're kind of starting to wrap up here, Jeff, let me pose a question to you. Well, actually, I'll just ask you, did you have any questions or any thoughts about the content that we presented today, or anything else you wanted to share as we're starting kind of to wrap up here?
No, nothing really to add, except what I love about the evolution of technology, such as the Heyo platform, is it just makes it so easy for people to do something like this. That about 4 or 5 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, you would have actually had to get a programmer in. It would have cost you $30,000, $40,000 or plus to just get to do something like this. So I just love the fact that you've got technology now that allows you to run a contest like, drop and click, basically. It's just drag and click. It's just so cool. So yeah, I never cease to be amazed by the way Heyo has made it so easy for people to go and do a contest without asking a programmer or a designer to do anything. Just go and do it, and that's what's really great. So it reduces the friction to actually being effective as a marketer for your business, and I think it's just awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's an amazing time to be in business right now, and to be able to leverage these tools that are so affordable and so effective. And like you said, the alternative is I find a programmer that they're only getting more expensive by the day to find a developer to code up a page for you. So I totally agree. Awesome.
But there's one thing I'd like to really add. I think a lot of marketers don't understand how important building an email list really is, because it's not just, this is not a one-off thing. When you build a list of 3,000 or 4,000 people, or 1,000 people, or 500, even 200 or 300, or even 100, there are people that they are then leads. You can continue to communicate with them, and that is so valuable over time. So the value of one email subscriber on your database is awesome, and you've got to remember that, because social media is great for that top of the funnel engagement, trust and credibility, sharing your content. But at the end of the day, the ability to reach an audience when you want to with your email list is just so valuable. And that's what I think a lot of social media marketers and content marketers don't get. They're all being distracted by the shiny new toy of social. But building your email list, guys, I can't impress upon you how important that is. Don't neglect it. And that's what's really good about the HeyO platform, is building that email list.
Yeah, I want to stay there for just a second, as I promise we are going to wrap up here. But a lot of people are still on, which means that they must be learning something. but here's what I'll say to echo Jeff's words. You'll notice that this strategy I laid out today is heavily reliant on email, right? It's the channel, it's the tried and true channel for being promotional digitally, for being promotional online. And I just couldn't agree with Jeff more. We've seen what happens when we count on the platform like Facebook or Twitter or these other social platforms, when we count on the platform to take care of our leads, right? Eventually, they're going to become pay to play. And so core to this strategy of going from engagement through to sales, right, is actually getting folks to opt in and become a lead and join your list. And, again, to echo what Jeff said, your email list is yours. It's a business asset. So I would say it's an incredibly valuable practice to make sure that you are building an email list. So I totally agree with Jeff. Got two last questions here. One from Carol, who says, "Is it possible to use HeyO on YouTube?" It is. It's possible to promote on YouTube. You can place links on YouTube. So whether it's an embedded link in a video or a link in a video description, you can promote these contests on YouTube. It is compatible. And then Lee essentially is asking me, does this work for B2B? It does, Lee. I would give the same advice I give with services, which is that you need to be thoughtful about the prize you give away. Giving something away that's time-based or highly service-oriented doesn't generally work as a prize, doesn't convert as well. But finding the right prize that's more product-oriented does work very well for B2B. So I hope that makes sense. So, well, Jeff, I just want to, as we kind of wrap up here, and actually, let me just check one more time the page. Yep. Okay. We're good. So I want to just, first of all, as we wind up here, Jeff, just say thank you so much to you and your amazing audience. This was a lot of fun. You guys were a fantastic audience. You were super engaging, asked lots of great questions. You kept us busy here at the end and throughout. And I tremendously hope that this webinar content was valuable for you, that you learned a new strategy, and that this is something that you're able to employ successfully for your business. So Jeff, again, I just want to thank you for the opportunity and to be able to spend some time with you and your great audience.
Great, and thanks for sharing your knowledge and giving some people insights into how they can be quite a bit more creative about building their email list with social, and that, I think, is just so important. Basically, people need to understand that the move from to pay to play, but on social is going to continue and even get harder to get that organic traction. So seize the opportunity now to use social while you can, because you really need to be building your own list that you can reach in your own time. It is so vital. That's been my biggest focus over the last 18 months, is to actually grow my email list, and it's doubled my sales, plain and simple.
Amazing. That's great. That's great advice. Well, Jeff, thanks so much. To everybody who's just who might still be checking out, I will honor, if you're in process of checking out or if you had a hard time, I will honor that. But otherwise, we're out of bonus packages, and I will be. We did record this webinar, and I will be sending out a replay link to everyone. So if you wanted to review something again, just keep your eyes open, watch your inbox. And you'll be seeing that coming through. So again, thanks to everyone for joining, and Jeff, thanks. Have a great time, great day, great night. No, wherever you are.
Have a great night or evening and day. Okay.
Exactly. I never know what to say. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Gotcha. Bye, everyone.